Hey, today I'm speaking with someone who has built an impressive career in one of the most demanding sectors out there. As an executive director of JP Morgan, Rekha Rao operates at the intersection of leadership, operations, and high stakes decision making. But what I find truly fascinating is how people like Rekha bring depth and dimension to their lives beyond the corporate world. Whether it's travel, creativity, or simply the curiosity to step outside routine, she represents a kind of balance that many professionals aspire to. Rekha, welcome to this chat. We call this the Explorer Chat. I'm looking forward to exploring both the world Rekha leads and the world she explores outside of it. Rekha, welcome to the Explorer Chat.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me here this morning.
Oh, it's an honor and a pleasure. So, you have been somebody who I know has been traveling with us for over a decade now. I vaguely remember in the initial years I hadn't met you, but I know that you had been on many trips, including Kenya and all of that. And then I know you moved on to a different country for a while. We'll talk about that. So we call this the Explorer Chat. The idea is we want to showcase people in different walks of life, people who are professionals in, let's say, IT, business, in medicine, and all of that, and how they indulge in this interesting field of travel and photography and stuff like that. So thank you so much for your time.
Most welcome.
So let's understand Rekha Rao and her profession. I know that you are at a leadership role in JP Morgan. Can we know what exactly is your responsibility there? What do you do at JP Morgan?
Sure. So as a leader, I have multiple hats that I wear.
Mm-hmm.
Firstly, I lead a large team of about 300 people.
Wow.
And operational roles, responsibilities, primarily being risk management.
I see.
Currently, the domain that I operate in is within investment banking. I
see.
take care of all of the structured lending operations.
Mm-hmm.
And this is primarily lending to large corporates
I see.
and broadly syndicated loans along with multiple other financial institutions.
I see. Mm-hmm.
So just to give you an idea, we have, in a year, we make about $1 trillion worth of payments.
Oh,
so
wow. These are all disbursements.
Yes.
Okay, I see. Mm-hmm.
So that's the risk management side of things, but it's very interesting because we get to see a lot of the market movements, which industries, how they're performing, and what is selling in the market out there.
Amazing. So I know that when we used to do outward remittances to different parts of the world, most of them used to have their, they used to call it, what is it called? Intermediary bank in New York or somewhere else in the US, for example. So your business is into lending to corporates, you said.
That's right.
Okay. So take us through a typical month. I know for a leader like you, a typical day is not the same from the other. Take us to a typical month of Rekha's professional life. Are you in Bangalore? Are you traveling to different headquarters and whatever else your offices are? Take us through your...
Yeah. Sure. So my day generally begins with checking all my day itinerary, emails, and setting up the day for meetings. Most of the day it's all about discussing how we go about transforming and modernizing the business and staying ahead. That's what I'm mostly involved in.
I see.
I have a lot of VPs who report into me, and they generally take care of day-to-day business.
Okay.
Unless there is a problem to solve or there is an issue, challenge, only then I get really deeply involved into operations.
Okay.
Second most important part of the day is also about meeting some of the teams, having discussions with the teams on ideas, change, implementing technology, partnering with a lot of the technology teams, product owners, that is the platforms and applications that we work on.
Okay.
So majority of the day goes in a lot of decision making. Either it is about solving a problem for the client or a missing payment, or it's about solving for some of the new technology that we are working with, and could be AI or could be just digital platforms that we are introducing for self-service capabilities, and resolving all those kind of problems with multiple stakeholders.
Wonderful.
Most importantly, a lot of influencing senior stakeholders on the ideas, suggestions and transformation for changes.
So at your level, you're not hands-on operations every day, but you're setting the North Star to the business and you're watching what's happening. Something I need to learn in my own business. They say if you're interested in scaling, you need to get out of day-to-day operations and look at it from a farther perspective, something I would love to learn from you.
Yeah, that's a journey I have personally been through as well. I started as a junior customer service executive with HSBC probably 22 years ago. And that's where I was a lot more hands-on. And as I grew within the ranks, I was trained and I also learned to let go of a lot of things that I didn't need to get involved.
Sure,
so it's
sure.
a journey.
Absolutely. And that's also tougher for a creative guy like me, because you know how to do it so well that letting go something is quite tough, because I know how the design should be, I know how the video should be. So tell me about it.
Whether creative or not, the feeling is the same, because even that small little word in that presentation or the calculation in the Excel sheet,
sure.
you still want to go correct it.
All these business coaches keep saying 80% is 100%. And what do you believe? Is it good enough to be?
That phase is gone, I believe. Today, the competition is so high,
right,
whether it is in the phase of banking or any other startup world, wherever you can look at. Everybody is trying to grab each other's business share, I would say. Like fintechs are eating into the banking space.
Sure.
Today, if you ask me from an operational view, 99% is normal. And that 1% margin of error, what you can make, even that is treated as risk, and we should not have it. So earlier, yes, that 80-20 and all used to work, but it works in some places. But in high stakes places where I have been, like whether it's derivatives business or whether it is any sort of trading, markets and wholesale lending, it's not acceptable.
Absolutely.
We deliver 100%.
Oh, amazing. Great. That's amazing to know, because with some tech help and AI and stuff like that, it's easily possible to go closer to 100. But yeah, I understand what you mean. So tell me, how stressful is a role at that level today in the business world? Is it possible to say, do stress to bada, do whatever you want, or is it a part of the game?
There are, I believe, for me personally, I have gotten used to this atmosphere or the competence that is required, because I've been in this industry for over 20 years, as I mentioned. And stress is definitely there, because there are every single half an hour I have like two meetings or two priorities. Somebody is asking me to get into something else. It starts with that, and then there is very quick decision making that you have to turn around. You can't just keep dilly-dallying things. So yes, the stress every day is a part of our life, and there's no escaping from that.
So how do you deal with it? Is travel and photography one of the solutions?
Yeah, so I want to take you back to when I started with Toehold, actually. And that was my first ever trip with Toehold. I did not even have a proper camera at that point in time. I was having a conversation with one of my colleagues in HSBC and telling them that, I was going through some treatment for hypothyroidism because of extreme stress in personal life and professional life. And I was taking therapy and treatment as well. So one of my colleagues actually introduced me to Toehold, saying that this company does wildlife photography. But why did I ask for wildlife photography was because my therapist kind of recommended that I find a hobby for myself that would be something related to nature. And secondly, that would help me pause and be still for some time, or be present in the moment instead of always multitasking.
This is an amazing perspective.
So that's where I thought, okay, I did some research and had some conversations and thought that, okay, photography seems like a perfect fit, and my colleague introduced me to Toehold. So I jumped on to the next trip that you had without a camera, and it was just the click one, the point and shoot sort of camera. And It was very, very interesting trip because I met some of very accomplished people on that tour specifically.
Right.
And we had fantastic conversations, not just about nature, wildlife, habitat, behaviors of animals, and that just captivated me. And
Right.
most importantly, I found over a period of time, like after 2-3 trips, photography became like therapy in motion for me.
Wow.
Because I could just be myself. I
Sure.
didn't have to solve problems. I didn't have to make any decisions. I could have the messiest hair. It didn't matter.
Right.
And I was just in awe in the present moment.
Absolutely. That certainly makes me think what a responsible role we sometimes may have. We'll just think that how transformational it can be for some people if we do the right job. That's amazing to know. And it's been 10 years since you've been traveling with the purpose, like photography.
Yes.
We'll come back to photography and travel, but tell us about your, I remember maybe in 2015, 16 or something, I don't know the exact, I'm just assuming, you went to China, you were working from there, that's when I started interacting with you for some queries. So tell us about what was that role, why did you have to go out of India before you came back?
Sure. So that was more of a secondment. I was placed through HSBC to HSBC China.
Okay.
And my role there was to set up a new business unit, which was for international banking or cross-border banking.
Okay.
Between key corridor of Hong Kong, China, and the rest of Southeast Asia.
Okay.
Moving the money from China, Hong Kong regions into UK, US, facilitating that corridor.
Understood.
So my role was to develop the Pearl River Delta area, which is more of the Canton side of the China area.
Right.
And work with them and set up the operations teams.
Wonderful. Great. Fabulous. So then you came back to India, and then fortunately we are seeing you a little more than that.
In fact, from there I went on to Poland as well for a year.
Okay.
So I set up another similar business unit in Poland, that is Krakow, and then came back to India after 4 years.
Fabulous. So the last time I was out with you was, I think, close to December 2023, where we were in Africa. I remember we had an amazing trip with gorillas and chimpanzees, and then we came to Masai Mara.
Yes.
And I know that we bought a lens for you in Nairobi. So tell us about your camera gear and equipment. You have always been a Nikon user, or you?
No, I still have my Canon. I used to have the older version Mark 270 sort of thing, and it was quite heavy.
Right.
Then I got to know from my colleagues who were traveling with me that mirrorless was better and things like that.
Right.
So I jumped on to buying the mirrorless version of Nikon.
Okay.
And of course, Ruta is somebody, I think, also one of your patrons, and she and me have been traveling quite a bit together.
Amazing.
So she was the one who said, Nikon is pretty easy to use, it's better, and so I just
amazing.
went.
She was also on the trip with us in Mara, so great. So tell us about your photography itself. Do you indulge in it with a little more intricate details of theories and learning and all of that, or do you treat that as, I need to know a few things, I don't want to make it a rocket science like learning? How do you see photography as a technical stuff?
For me, it's a hobby, it's passion, because I studied also biology, that is zoology and botany.
Right.
And though it's a different matter that I ended up in banking, but as a hobbyist, I do not necessarily get into the very technical details of, a little bit of more dark or less.
Exposure.
I'm more of creative photography. At that moment, what looks good to me is what I try to capture, and in my own eyes. I've never gone after fame or coffee table books or anything. It's always been just getting the admiration of my family and friends.
Of course.
And my son always says that you should print all this and put it in the room or decorate one of our rooms.
Of course. Yeah, absolutely. If you've got some good photos, always, instead of showing on the phone, it will make a great print on the wall. So I know that you have done some tigers, you have probably wanted to go to Bharatpur and you had some commitment and you had to change that. Or did you go?
Yeah.
Oh, you did go to Bharatpur. And also you have done Africa a bit. Tell us about some of your favorite travel experiences. Where all have you been that I don't know? These are the ones I know.
Yeah, so my most favorite so far definitely has been the gorilla trek in Uganda that
Wow.
we went to.
Right.
And that was something I have been thinking about for quite long because it had the element of adventure,
True.
a little bit of hard work,
Right.
expect the unexpected, and be close without being in the jeep with
Absolutely.
the animal itself.
Absolutely.
So that was definitely the top one rated for me.
Wow.
But yes, if you have to ask me what is the second one, it would any day be Africa, Mara, Tanzania, sort of the area for me.
Sure.
Because I'm a person who loves freedom, and anything to do with large expanses, open lands,
Sure.
just attracts me naturally.
Absolutely. I remember on the gorilla trip, even I could barely walk in the evenings. It was so tiring and the legs, and I realized I need to improve my quads because they were taking a lot of weight and getting up, going down, and I was limping on one evening, I remember, especially the
Coming
chimpanzee.
back up the chimpanzee
Yeah, exactly,
trek
the chimpanzee
was-
evening, and also, yeah, this was one of my favorite areas as well. I'm glad that it's a great destination that you like.
I think, more than the destination itself, it's also a lot about the places like Bharatpur, for example, right? What beautiful natural landscape and
Vistas.
just even if you don't photograph, just be there for like 10 minutes quietly.
Sure.
It's just
Right.
a total
It's like a
reset.
therapy. Yeah, absolutely. So coming to an interesting question, people who are at some senior positions, leadership positions, it comes with a lot of responsibility. It comes with a lot of, as we spoke, stress, a lot of work that gets done while you're on travel, while you're on holiday, while you're at home, while you're in the office. How important is developing a hobby or an interest to anybody? You had to do that when your therapist told you, say, but if somebody is not having a hobby or an interest or a passion or anything, what is your recommendation to somebody who is starting out and becoming a leader, and not just leader, even somebody who is a contributor to a team can benefit from this, right? So what is your recommendation to people?
My 2 cents is career is important, but it shouldn't replace who you can be even without the career.
I see.
Right? Career is a means of living, and yes, you give your best, you do your 100%, but definitely everybody needs to have something, especially for women. And I've experienced that myself with childcare, parents, and in-laws, and everything else that goes on. Go to the wedding, go to the funeral. Right? So it's just like there is no space left for you yourself and to be in the moment.
Right.
And this is where I feel all these ADHD, depression, everything comes into play.
Absolutely.
And if you find, whether it's photography, whether it's painting, whatever, or playing cricket, you have to retain what works, what's best for you with you.
Sure.
And somewhere, even though I can't come, you know very well that many times I have not been able to turn up to the trips because of work priorities.
Absolutely.
But at least I know in a year, 1 or 2 times, I do give myself that well-deserved break and retune myself.
Absolutely. In fact, one of the questions I was asking another person recently was why a hobby shouldn't become so addictive to somebody that they forget the actual role they're playing in their professional life, because it puts a lot of stress otherwise.
Yeah.
We took this up to become stress-free, relieve ourselves from the mundane, but if this itself becomes a stress to us, it'll add on to the problems, right? So how do you balance a career and a passion or something that you want to do for pleasure? I know, apart from just photography travel, you also go to was it Vietnam recently? I saw something, right? Japan, with your friends, and you had a fun time there, and I could see the bubbly Rekha there. So how do you balance the fun Rekha and the photography tour Rekha and the corporate leader Rekha? How do you balance that?
So corporate is a day-to-day job, right? There's nothing, you don't have a choice. You have to turn up every day, you have to deliver your best.
Right.
Now, there are 2 other elements, which is keeping your social network alive. And second is about finding what you like doing. Like, I like anything to do with art. I've always been like, even as a kid, I used to do a lot of painting and stuff like that. And I like nature. So in my view, in a year, I make sure that I do 100% at my job. I use my leaves very effectively. One, I keep it for one such travel
Right.
through the year, which is photography, one with my friends and another with family.
Awesome.
So these are three bare minimum things I do, and whatever extra days I have, I generally redirect it towards photography trips, which are shorter trips, like
Sure.
maybe Kabini, Bandipur, and
Wonderful. I know that you were recently in Kabini. You went with was it colleagues or family? You
Family.
were family. Great. So I hope you keep getting these breaks. Talking about a balance between profession and passion. Do you see a lot more women in the corporate world? Because I have been out of such big companies for close to about 18, 19 years now, so I don't have a personal perspective anymore, but you are there now. Do you see a lot more women who take time off not from work but also from their family, because that's also equally demanding sometimes? So how do you see it changing over time? I can see the percentage of women in our own groups increasing over time. Has it been the sample audience that we are doing is the representation of the whole world?
yes, I would say that definitely it has improved, but still it's not there where it is supposed to be. Especially corporate and working women, you will see that increased mobility participation.
Right.
And probably a little more in the south than towards the north is
Right.
my take. Having said that, there is still a very big population of people like housewives and people who are not actively or doing their own businesses as
Right.
well, who are not active travelers or who are not really pursuing any hobby. Some of the entrepreneurial women have converted their hobby into their business.
True.
So that is good for them, but I don't think that population ever steps out much as we all do
Right.
from the corporate side of
That
the
also
world.
is a little bit of our background, our patriarchal background, where we don't encourage that as much, and you should probably as a society we should allow our mothers, sisters, spouses to take a break from mundane household
Yes.
work, and also take a break because travel. I was recently seeing a Marathi movie. I may recollect the name. I forget it. It's about a middle-aged woman who takes a break from her life and goes to, I think, England. She goes to England with her friends, and today morning itself I saw that reel of how she comes to her husband and say घूमना है या फिरना है, and the husband says जाते हैं नासिक जाते हैं यहाँ जाते हैं. Then she says नहीं फिर कहाँ जाना है? Then she says England जाना है. Then he says okay, कोई travel agent से मिलते हैं. She says नहीं वो भी हो गया हाँ पेमेंट करना है. She says वो भी हो गया तो फिर कब जाना है? That's an amazing perspective. I love that movie. I think that should happen a lot more in the society. And that showed how it's transitioning, and the man was a little surprised that this woman has taken the decision to book a tour to England and all of that.
Yeah, though there are some upcoming these I've seen like Wow Group.
Sumitra's.
They have been doing a lot of women-led tours, and I see some women going there. But I feel it's a very small population still.
There's a huge number of women who are still in the grind, and they would definitely benefit from taking break. We are seeing an increase in the cohort. We are seeing an increase in the number of women in their 20s and 30s, and now also in their 60s. I recently went to Panna. I had a lady in her 60s who has moved out of her job, families settled, children are all having their own life, and now she's free to travel as well.
Yeah, but at the same time, there are also equally the same number of women, like even if they are 50, 60 or whatever, if you tell them, why don't you take a break and go, they'll be like, really? What will happen to kitchen? What will happen to lunch box? And they get stuck with those.
I think life will go on. They should just give it a chance. But I know how difficult it is. Even the men can't live a day easily without them, because they're so used to that attention. Happens to me as well. If my mom is not there or my wife is not there, sometimes I don't know where something is. It's something we need to be trained. It has to happen over time. Wonderful. So talking about photography itself, what do you do with your pictures, Rekha? Do you present them to family, friends? Do you put it on social media, or do you just keep it in some place where whenever there's a chance?
This is like in our olden days. You remember uncle, aunt came home, kid, go dance. That's where I am still.
Oh, I see. Okay.
It's still between my family, friends, and that's about it.
That's
but
fine.
I do have quite a few hard disks filled with a lot of beautiful photos.
Sure.
And maybe when I start getting a little more time at hand, I will start publishing them and use them more effectively.
Sure. Also, I have heard from a lot of people, they take a break from work and sometimes they open their hard disks and they open their Lightroom catalogs of trips that they've done in the past and they relive those memories.
Yes.
Is that something you do as well?
Oh, many times I have done, like at 1 o'clock in the night, I'll be like, oh my God, why did I not do this? Oh, I could have done this differently. And then I
Sure.
relive, oh yeah, that was the day.
Absolutely.
It's beautiful journeys, and those are some things that make me happy.
Right. Awesome. So, is there any destination that you think is one of the bucket lists for you and you would love to go there?
I think you know it already.
It's behind us? Is it the
No.
one behind us?
Svalbard is
That's what I
something.
said, behind us.
Oh yeah, okay. I didn't look at that.
Okay, all right.
Yes,
Svalbard.
I think since COVID time, I have been planning and it hasn't happened. But
Right.
I'm just hoping very soon it will.
I hope so too, because I think now that you have a son in Scandinavia and you may probably use that as a excuse to go see him, and then hopefully
Yes.
Svalbard happens. Look forward to that. Okay, let's talk a little bit about how Rekha as a professional has played a role, let's say in JP Morgan or whatever else that company you've worked with. I'm sure you must be inspiring a lot of women. You may be hiring women, you may be. So how do you see this world now changing from, earlier we used to have roles which were mostly for men. Now the distinction is very less. How many women are taking up such senior leadership roles? Because I still keep seeing Indira Nui's reels on Instagram and we don't see as many different faces. So do you think there is still a lot of scope for that to happen in India?
In India, so there are two platforms, right? If you look at globally, like in global organizations like JP Morgan, HSBC, the likes like whether Lloyd's, Barclays, a lot of them do focus on supporting diversity, inclusion, and opportunities for women. Not just for women, but across all genders and even different abilities.
Right.
So I feel there has been definitely, like 20 years ago when I joined corporate as well, there were very few women.
Right.
But now there is substantial improvement, and
Right.
I see that there is a lot more investment, there is support, there are a lot more allies. Like over the few years, I have come across a lot of bosses who've been very supportive, coaching and mentoring and guiding us through the way.
Awesome.
So yes, it is changing, but are we in India specifically? I would say there is still a large gap. Yes, we are moving, but there is a lot of cultural biases, nuances that still hold us back, and I believe we are still just 10% or 5%
Wow.
there.
Okay.
There is still a long way to go.
Sure. Great. So interesting leadership roles that people play, and it can have an impact on many people. So what's your son studying right now? Or what's the
The good part is he took on design.
Okay.
Like the interest in art from him was always there.
Okay.
So I guess that gene came from me.
Sure.
So
Right.
yeah, he's doing his master's in design, and he specializes in product design.
I see. Okay.
Developing products for sustainable future.
Wonderful. So right now, how do you see you benefiting from an escape, let's say to Ranthambore or Bharatpur or Africa, and when you come back to your meeting room or your boardroom or your business, do you see something coming back from there which helps your professional life as well?
Yes, definitely. For example, I will tell you, like you're in the forest waiting for an owl to turn around or peek out of that hole and take a picture.
Right.
So you learn how to pause, wait, and be in that moment, watch and listen carefully as well. Many times you have to listen to the call, and so that's exactly what you need to do as a senior leader in a boardroom or in a meeting room.
Sure.
You have to listen for the clues. You have to see what is the
Right.
read the room,
Right.
right, what's happening, and you have to wait for the right moment to put your point as well, and not unnecessarily keep talking, right?
Sure.
People are not there to listen, they are there to tell you what is going on.
Right.
And I'm not an expert at everything that's going on, so I have to
Absolutely.
listen and take inputs
Sure.
from many people as well. So these are the very small things. Of course, apart from that, there are also moments where patience, right? Especially because you're multitasking throughout the day, you're like everything is yesterday, urgent, to submit it now sort of situation at work. I think that patience and calmness is something I have developed over a period of time
Awesome.
by the way of my photography trips that I've been through.
Great.
Which is very, very important, because I get complimented many times saying that you are such a cool and calm leader. We've not come across somebody like you.
Okay.
I'm like, okay, great, thanks.
And how has your tiger trips with disappointing days shaped you?
Yeah, so that's where you learn to live with failures, and tomorrow again the tiger will show up, and things don't work sometimes, and many times they don't work as well. We would have put in best of our efforts, even at work, and whatever change, transformation we are trying to do, or trying to get the results, we don't get necessarily the outcome or the result of that particular project or whatever we are working on.
Right.
And that's where how do you deal with disappointment
Sure.
comes into play.
Absolutely. And you learn how to accept stuff.
Yeah.
Some things are not in our control. And how we deal with plan Bs and stuff like that. That's amazing. So I know that I remember in Mara, there were situations when I was a little stressed about a few things, but you were pretty cool. And I think that is true. You being a cool, I'm sure I can imagine you at work. I can also imagine you being stern sometimes, getting things done, because that's something I have, assumed based on my limited interactions with you. But to a large extent, I think you are a fun person to be with. You laugh a lot, which is what makes it interesting to have you on the trip. So over time, what have you learned about nature, ecology, wildlife, and stuff like that? What is it that has happened to you as your own personal knowledge of all of this? Is it just for pleasure, or are you also somebody who has learned some of the nuances of wildlife?
Definitely. I mean, learning has been immense. I think we used to have these sessions called Chitra
Tantra. Fun names we used to give.
Yeah. So, starting from understanding the technical nuances, right? Of course, when I started going into the wildlife trips,
Right.
first thing I learned was about the number of birds and their names, right? I never knew so many existed.
True.
The second thing I knew was about endangered and how many have become extinct as well, right? So these are all things that brought a lot more consciousness and awareness about conservation, importance of ecology and everything else. Though, through my education, I do know a lot of these stuff, but
Right.
I think it just re-emphasizes, and every time you go back to the same forest, you see lesser of something,
Right.
or you see more of something. Like, for example, probably there are a lot more tigers in Kabini than human beings, right? So,
Absolutely.
Similarly, like in some places, you start seeing a depletion as well. Like Africa probably was a lot more really wildlife 10-15 years ago whenever I went first. Now it's so much more commercialized is the feeling you get, but still there are places where it is green and thriving with life.
Absolutely.
So to say technical things, from peer group as well, travel group members, a lot of small things like, hey, why don't you do this, why don't you do that, to learning a lot of birds, to learning a lot about reptiles. I am scared of reptiles and I stay away from them, to be honest. But at least from far I can recognize and say, okay, this is a green whatever and this is something else.
Makes sense.
Right? So like I didn't know so many types of eagles existed in Kabini itself.
So everything is an eagle for most people.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah, many things, even behaviors of tigers, like, so I've seen cubs and this and mothers and in fact, I have created a series of photos from different trips together, which is all about love in the wild.
Okay.
And it's more about parent-child relationship
okay.
and different moments
I see.
of togetherness, whether it was pride, hurt, or stuff like that.
Understood. Amazing. Great to know that. In fact, one of the things that people like you should do is also use your wildlife images in your presentations at work, because there could be some topics where you are dealing with where it could be a relevant image or just for eye candy sometimes, but people will also have you been recognized in your company as somebody who does wildlife photography? Do people come and say, hey Rekha, I'm going to Masai Mara, Yellow Hogli, what they do that?
Yeah, many of my friends do that, and at work a few of them who know about it do that. I don't generally publicize quite a bit.
Right.
But yeah, those close network or people who've known me for long, they do come and definitely ask me about
Absolutely.
it. And I have recommended, I think, quite a few people to Toehold.
Thank you so much. Thank you. So tell me something. Where are you actually from? Are you a Kannadiga or are you from some other part of India?
I am a Kannadiga, but born and brought up in many states across India. I've lived in Delhi, Ghaziabad, then in Karnataka like Chitradurga, Hubli.
Chitradurga?
Yeah.
Oh, why? What was your dad?
My dad was working in the inspection department of the bank.
Oh, I see.
So he used to get posted in different places every 3-4 years.
Okay.
And that's how.
Great. Chitradurga, it's interesting. Mammanuru.
Oh, nice.
I have been to Chitradurga many times, and she was born and brought up there. Amazing. All right, great. So that's an interesting, life being in different parts of India while you are growing up. Which that's why probably your Hindi is also reasonably good. For a Kannada girl, you speak reasonably good Hindi.
Yes, I studied a lot of Hindi, and in fact, my dad was also a very avid traveler, and the travel part of it comes from him. And my uncles were all, especially the ones in Bangalore, were all with cameras most of the time, taking a lot of photos, and more of like the family, kids photos at that time, and some did studios and things like that.
Absolutely.
But yeah, those were the probably young age thought processes that I got into. I have still so many photos my uncles have taken of all of us playing as kids.
Awesome. So Rekha, tell me, you have a lot of friends who you made in the last 10-15 years who are interested in photography, travel. How do you see social media as a companion to this cohort? Why do you not make social media a goal? Is it because it's not worth your time, or is it because it's too stressful sometimes? How do you look at social media as something that you use?
To be honest, I don't want all these places to be flooded with influencers and just wannabes and spoil the peace of that place.
Okay.
I do not want to publish anything and get hundreds of people going there and spoiling my peaceful place.
Understood.
That's one of them. Probably a little selfish there.
That's okay.
Having said that, I genuinely believe that everything is not necessarily to be published, social media. Look, if you are trying to make a career out of it, it makes sense. If you're trying to get noticed by taking some really good pictures and winning awards or looking to do all those kind of things, I was never in that zone, so probably I never thought it was important to leverage the power of social media. Maybe in future, as and when I get a lot more time and hands, I will start doing that.
Wonderful.
At some point.
I look forward to. It's not necessary for somebody to just take social media so seriously all the time. Today I was seeing that only 2-3% of the people are creators. So 95-98% of the people are consumers. So it's not necessary for everybody to keep showing off, everybody to schedule their posts, everybody to look at.
In fact, I read very recently. I read another similar information which said that 85% of Gen Z folks are taking liking and moving into content creation or are already into content creation mode versus past generation.
Sure.
So I don't know, I think we are going to be flooded with a lot more content.
And also there's peer pressure. So I think one of the things I was talking to somebody else this morning as well was, how a lot of people know a lot of things, but very few people know a lot more depth of something. So it's become a little bit of everything breadth. And exactly.
Yeah, everybody is after breadth and nobody is going after depth. In fact, there's also a very big section, like if you look at any of my, like my son or all my nephews, nieces, If you tell them, let's take a selfie or photo, they'll all run away. They don't like photos. They don't put anything on Instagram. They just live their life their own way. And they're like, why do you have to put everything on Instagram?
Okay. Interesting. All right. So, Rekha, let me ask you about your photography interest. Did you take any workshop or any course or anything, or you simply started traveling on photo tours?
Firstly, I started simply traveling, and then later I took some of your online courses about editing, which were there. So I purchased those courses, and I did it at my own pace.
Right.
I necessarily did not attend any in-person session, but I think I've had immense learning from some of your mentors who were skippers who traveled along with us, and on-the-spot coaching, like whether it was Trikansh, whether it was you, whether it was
even the people who worked in the past, Sachin and
yeah,
Santosh.
Harsha, all those folks, like everybody taught me a lot on the ground, I would say.
Absolutely. I'm glad that we had the honor to influence so many lives in many ways. So since you are somebody who can change my perspective and vision at some stage with your experience, what is it that you would recommend Toehold doing in the next 5 to 10 years? Where do you think a company like ours, which is still at a reasonably good stage of our business, but we still have a long way to go. If I had to ask, Rekha, what should I do next 10 years? Do you have any recommendation to me as a business leader?
Sure. I think there are two aspects that I've always thought about that Toehold could do a little more of. One is create 2 parallel tours, not just one. I think in one of the recent Africa tours, you had done that year-end tour, I think one of them. One for those who are non-photographers and one for photographers, because there are a lot of families who want to get their kids in. Like I have a cousin sister whose son is very small, but he loves my camera. He wants to know about all my trips. So there are all such people who don't necessarily want to get into photography but want to take their kids for experience.
Right.
And second category of people is I have been on all these so many tours but I never got to see a tiger. And how do you get to see a tiger every time? I say you need to go with the right people. Right. So that's an area which I think is still quite a big vacuum and not filled by many tour operators.
Definitely.
Secondly, what I feel is that volunteering experiences also are very enriching. So you can tie up with some of the conservatories as well as some of the programs that are run by NGOs and other government, non-government organizations across the world for conservation of wildlife, and create some volunteering programs where people can stay, partner with them, put in some Shramadan, like we call it in India, and also get some good photography.
Absolutely. Experience. So it's more of an immersive travel, but there is a purpose to it with some contribution.
Yes.
There is some outcome which comes out of your travel.
It becomes a conscious travel.
Absolutely. In the first suggestion that you gave me is something that we are implementing at a very rapid pace. So basically we are right now remodeling the perception of Toehold, because until now Toehold means photography, but I think we wanted to have a slightly wider view of Toehold, and we are implementing that strategy very soon and you'll see it rolling out. So thank you so much. So one of the things I want to ask you before we end this beautiful conversation is what is Rekha Rao's personal goal? Not the professional goal. I'm sure that will keep tweaking and changing and you'll reorient yourself. As a personal goal with respect to travel and photography, do you have some vision, or do you think I would love to do this as long as I'm able to, I'm fit and I'm able to move around? What's your thought on your future ideas on travel?
My future idea, I have quite a few actually. I definitely want to continue traveling is the first one. Secondly, I want to kind of probably at some point venture a little bit myself in terms of organizing some travel groups, and it's not so much for profit but more for like bringing people together with a common objective. And the objective here is weaving in a couple of themes like mindfulness or conservation along with travel,
Sure.
fitness with travel.
Sure.
So these are the kind of emerging areas I feel that can be tapped into a lot more than what it has been. Generally, travel perception has always been, have like a packed itinerary, go from place A to place B. You didn't see this, you didn't see that monument. I think been there, done that, or now
Sure.
it's like. So I just want to take a few people along with me on that journey.
Sure.
And I want to get fitter and I want to do a lot more
Absolutely.
than what I have done before.
Great.
Earlier, I didn't have too much time to get into fitness, travel, photography, everything. So
Okay.
probably as I get more time on hands, I will definitely continue to stay fitter and travel till
Great.
I can.
Wonderful. So I'm going to give you I'm going to make a proposal to you. It's a fun proposal, but you never know. Someday when you are done with your millions of dollars of CTC aspirations and you want to take a break from the JP Morgans of the world, you're most welcome to join Toehold to take this vision forward. Why do you need to create another organization? I am looking forward to having leaders here who would take up such roles. Of course, we cannot match the CTCs of the JP Morgans, but we would definitely love for some advisory, directions and even though I'm making it as a fun thing, I definitely think it's possible. Someday when Rekha is not, Magan Madhve Aitu, Ella Mugitu, now Rekha is, before Rekha becomes Ajji, we will do that. That is something I would love to see.
Well, I don't know about Maga is already independent. He doesn't depend on me anymore much. So whether he gets married or no, I can still do. And I thank you for the proposal. I love it. Maybe we'll think about it.
Absolutely, Rekha. Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure talking to you. And I think what this conversation will do is inspire a lot of people who are in different walks of life, especially in professional careers, who will see somebody like you who is at such a position where they may think, "Arey, itna stress hoga," whatever, but you still make time for your personal life, your travel, your pleasures and all of that, and that will inspire a lot more people. And I look forward to seeing you on some tour soon, and hopefully Svalbard, because that will be a very interesting place which you have always wanted to go, and it's very good for me if you come to Svalbard. Thank you so much, Rekha. It's a pleasure talking to you.
Thank you, Jayanth, and it has been a pleasure always going on trips with Toehold, and I've never actually deviated much from Toehold.
Sure.
So I'm heartful thanks to you for organizing such wonderful trips and bringing in a change in my life.
My pleasure. Thank you for coming here, and it's been a great pleasure. Well, Rekha, thank you so much for such an honest and insightful conversation. It's always refreshing to hear from leaders like you who bring both competence and curiosity to their lives. Your reflections on work, travel, and personal growth will resonate with a lot of listeners who are trying to find that balance without losing ambition. It's been a pleasure having you on the show, and to everyone listening, here's your reminder that success doesn't have to come at the cost of exploration. There's always room to step out, slow down, and discover something new. Well, until next time, keep exploring.